Hello again, everybody. We are back in Studio A for our Pantograph Prep Preview, the second round playoff edition. I'm Joe Deacon again. With me is Randy Kindred.
Hi, Joe.
Hello, Randy. Well, we've got 6 games coming up this week. Yeah. Another busy schedule. This is a pretty good showing for the first round. And we're going to start off, all 3 of our inner-city teams still in action.
Yeah.
And we'll start off with Normal Community, still 10-0. They're going up to play Chicago Mount Carmel at Gately Stadium.
Yeah, that'll be, I know they're kind of embracing it as a great opportunity. And, I mean, obviously Mount Carmel's one of the most productive and successful programs in state history. But, you know, the thing I think that they're keeping in mind and that they need to keep in mind is they don't have to beat all those teams that won state titles for Mount Carmel. They just have to beat the one that's there this year. And I think you know, they've probably got the right mindset. And this Normal Community team is very talented. It's probably I think the best since their 2006 team that won the state championship. They've got a veteran defense. They've got a dynamic quarterback, just like those teams did. And so that team did. So yeah, it should be a great game. I don't have a lot of stats on Mount Carmel. I think they're pretty close to the best on those, but they do have a player going to TCU for baseball and football, so he's obviously a great athlete.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, obviously the Caravan with great tradition. That game's going to be a noon game up in the south side of Chicago. And our second inner-city game that we'll look at, kind of a similar storyline with Normal West. Looking to prove themselves against a perennial power of the traditional program in New Lenox, Providence.
Yeah, and I think Providence and Mount Carmel are pretty evenly matched this year, judging from I saw where Mount Carmel beat them
35-34.
Yeah, right at the last game of the season, the regular season, I think. So yeah, you're right. Very similar tasks, and I know you talked to the folks at West, and they seem to have a good mindset too. That you got to respect them, but you can't be in awe of them. And if they continue with that approach, I think they've got a good shot.
Yeah, the Providence, the Celtics have a linebacker who's going to Minnesota. That's the West's offense going to have to be aware of. But it's the defense for West that's really kind of been a surprise this year, a pleasant surprise. They played so well. And they're going to have to watch out for running back Deshaun Gavin, who's going to Western Illinois. And then their quarterback, Caden Kalinowski, had a big game against Richards.
Okay, yeah. So, and Richards is obviously always a good program too. So for them to beat them in the first round is a pretty good indication they've kind of got it together.
Yeah, and
the season.
They handled them pretty well too. Got off to a 24-0 lead. So moving on to our third game in Class 3A, we've got 7th-seeded Central Catholic has got to go down to Williamsville, an unbeaten team, and 2nd-seeded.
Yeah, and I talked to Mike Mays and a player or two yesterday, and the big thing with Williamsville, their quarterback has thrown for over 2,100 yards, and they like to go, as Mike said, they go deep to short. They like to look to go deep first, and then you know, if you can force them to maybe go a little shorter routes. But so I think the big thing they're looking for is if they can get some pressure on the quarterback, make him have to throw it before he wants to, then they can maybe take some of the steam out of that passing game.
Yeah, the Saints coming off it was kind of a tight first round win, but they were able to pull it out and move on to the second round. A few things they want to probably build on off of last week. Yeah,
I think they were saying last week that they were facing a wing T offense, which you don't see a lot of anymore, and they had not seen it since the first round of the playoffs last year when they got knocked off. So they felt like it was a big win. It's their first real comeback win of the season, and to be able to beat a wing T team that had frustrated them the year before was big. Mike did say that James Morris, their star receiver, he hurt one of his hands during that win last week, but he is going to play this week, so that's obviously great news for the Saints.
Yeah, that's a key weapon for them to have, indeed. And our other 3 teams, all Class 2A entries, and they're all from the Heart of Illinois Conference, so they know a lot about each other, but right now they've all got to stay away from each other. Right. First off, we've got GCMS, still 10-0, and they've got to go to Savannah West Carroll.
Yeah, and I'm sure they got some tape from their HOI partner there, Fieldcrest, because Fieldcrest played West Carroll last week and lost 40-0, which was a surprise, I think. But yeah, I think GCMS, they're probably ready to really get tested. I mean, they've had so many games where they've just blown people out, and now you're getting into the territory where it's going to be a test every week, and I'm sure they're embracing that.
Indeed, and I mean they definitely have the talent and the way they've played all year to make a deep run as we've kind of anticipated.
Yeah, I think a big thing for them is they haven't had to throw much this year, but when they have to, they've got a really good quarterback in Nathan Gerard, and he's only thrown like 53 passes, but he's completed 40 of them. So
that's pretty good.
So he's pretty effective, and that'll take if teams really load up on their star running back Mitch McNutt, then they can do some play action or some of those things, and maybe catch him with a pass.
Moving on to number 3 seeded Tri-Valley at 9-1. They're going to be home again. They're going to face Shelbyville.
Yeah, and they have a common opponent in Decatur St. Teresa, and Tri-Valley lost to St. Teresa the first week. I think it was 25-20, and Shelbyville lost to St. Teresa late in the season, 28-20. So that would indicate it's probably a pretty evenly matched game. I know Shelbyville's got a quarterback who's thrown for quite a few yards, and so that'll kind of test the Tri-Valley defense, especially the secondary. So probably it's one of those deals that the best defense will be a good offense if they can get their run game going and control the ball and control the clock. That'll be a big thing for Tri-Valley. Not
to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I believe Tri-Valley and GCMS are on opposite brackets.
Yeah.
So if they can keep both rolling, we could potentially have an HOIC matchup in the title game.
That would be interesting.
That would be quite fun. Our other team in Class 2A, the other HOI team still alive, is El Paso Gridley, coming off a big, kind of a surprise win last year.
Yeah, 29-26 up at Rock Ridge, which was ranked, I think, 4th in the state, and that was the one game that kind of surprised everyone around the state. But they played well. Ryan Falk had a big last drive there where he gained like 79 yards out of a 95-yard drive that kind of helped clinch it, and they can throw the ball too with Jaron Landris, and so they're at home. They obviously got some confidence from last week's win, so we'll see what they can do against Knoxville.
Yeah, Knoxville, they're coming in as a 6 seed. They have a pretty good running attack, it looked like, about 360 yards per game or so.
Yeah, I think they've maybe lost their first 2, and they've won 8 in a row since then, so they're obviously on a bit of a roll here, but playoff time is strange that way. You get a win like EPG did last week, and it can really spark you to some good things.
Indeed. Well, that's going to do it for all our games on the docket. They're all Saturday afternoon, so we won't have any score updates on Friday night. But be sure to go to Panagraph.com Saturday afternoon as the scores come in, and we'll have all the coverage in Sunday morning's Panagraph section. So pick one of those up if you could. Thanks.